Welcome back from the break. We just finished up the QA session and we're going to continue talking about mod poop. We're going to talk about all the shit that's dealing with the police that help police your chat. So here's the one thing that you really want to make sure you do. One of the biggest things that we started doing early on is we had a guide for our mods. We had a guide to let them know this is what I expect out of you. So one of the very biggest things that you can really do is make sure your mods are making the stream in your image. So, have them, duplicate your mods. Basically just clone them, everything's good. Honestly, look at making your mods a bigger part of your stream, and as long as they understand, like, this is how I want you to do things. Make sure they do that. Make sure they're an extension of you. That's the biggest thing. Make sure they understand that everything that you would want to do in your chat yourself, they're doing for you. So whether that's timing people out or whether it's greeting people or that sort of thing, do not get a greeting bot, get greeting mods. That's a great advice I can give people. Do not get a fucking greeting bot, by the way. That will send so many people away. However, if you actually have a personal, like somebody in chat who's personal and will greet, not everybody, but, a lot of people, it's an amazing thing to do. Having someone there to shake your hand instead of a robot going, welcome to Walmart, it's whatever you do. It's actually pretty nice, Now, if they greet every single person, it becomes impersonal. But, if they're greeting every other person, get greeting people. And that's one of the things that, to be honest with you, like, somebody actually asked one of my mods one day, like, are you required to, like, say hello to everybody? And no, they're not. But I encourage my mods to do so. Because, to be honest with you, having somebody there to say hello is a huge, awesome thing. Because it just builds a community. It makes people feel welcome. I've given this example before, but if you've ever been to Loco2525's chat, and you go in her chat and you say hello, granted, she has about 3 times the number of people I typically do, but if you ever go into her chat and say hello, like, you literally will get, like, 10 other highs, hellos, what's ups, that sort of thing, in, like, less than a second. It's amazing. It's unbelievably amazing. So, it's one of those things that really makes you feel welcome. It makes you feel a part of the community. And that's what you, like I said, that's your focus. Is build a community, don't build, build a community. The rest of it will come. The other thing is, make sure they understand that they're your badass police. Like this dude right here. This is basically Spoon Man. or whichever mod it likes to ban people. Probably Driz. I don't know. One of these guys likes to shoot things. I don't know. But yes, make sure they understand that they are your police. They're your police too. Not only are they making things in your image, but they're your police. They're the ones who are gonna make sure people don't fuck with you. And sometimes you can go into stream and people will be upset about, like Nazi mods or whatever. But dude, fuck those people. If they're complaining about Nazi mods, they're the ones who need to go anyway. Like, they're supposed to be doing the image they're supposed to be handling the stream in your image. So whether it's just like certain words that piss you off or certain things that you just don't want happening in your stream, get rid of it. It's your stream. It's yours. The other big thing I can tell you to do if you're managing your mods is make sure your mods understand that they have a role to play. They have a role to play. When my mods, every time before stream, especially on bigger streams, things that we have a lot going on, certain mods will volunteer for certain duties. And make sure people understand that they have, like, your mods have certain duties. Whether that's one of the mods wants to be greeting a lot of people, whether somebody wants to be on banning duty, whether somebody wants to be handling giveaways, whether somebody wants to be doing bets if you have a betting system, that sort of thing. Like, we basically, they all handle that themselves at this point. But for a while there, I basically had to be like, all right, who wants to handle this? All right, you are handling that. So make sure they understand that each mod has a role to play. It keeps people from stepping on other people's toes. The other big thing that you can do is if the mod has like, I don't know what to do, everyone else is already handling everything, basically just make sure that they're doing ban duty. You can never have enough mods that are there to ban and time out people. Never have enough mods to do that. Basically, like, if the more that you have on that on the policing duty, the more that you're gonna have, the less you're gonna have shit show up in your stream that you don't want to see. So that's one of the big things. Now I'm going to bring up a controversial subject because people are like, wait, what? Is paying your mods. Paying your mods. I know a few streamers who do this. I know a lot of streamers who do this, actually. Once you get to a certain point where you're making money from Twitch, one of the best ways you can do to make sure that you are getting the most out of your mods is potentially pay them. Now, some mods will absolutely refuse this. Some of them just want to help you grow. But to be honest with you, if you really want to turn this into a job, treat it as such. You are the you are the CEO of your company here. You are the CEO of your stream, which means that if you're making money and you have someone else helping you out, maybe you should look at paying them. Maybe it's only a percentage. Maybe it's just a tiny amount. Maybe it's donating in game to them. But I do know some of the very, very large streamers, to keep their mods basically on point, they treat it as a job as well. So if you're treating it as a job and you're starting to make money from it, maybe look at having your mods treated as a job as well. I know eventually, at some point in my streaming career, I will be paying my mods. Whether that's, like in the next month, whether that's in the next year, I don't know. But to be honest with you, like, it's kind of like at some point, like if you want the job done, you may have to pay somebody for it. People do that? Yeah, they do. Here's the other big thing. Say, see you later, bitches, to any bad mods you have. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. You're gonna have to basically fire somebody. But if you have a mod that's causing you trouble, it's way, way, way worse. Unbelievably worse than just a viewer who's causing you trouble. Make sure you understand when a mod is causing you trouble, send them on their way or have a talk with them. But to be honest with you, you have to say bye to the ones that are really causing you trouble. Just as you would say bye to any other viewer who came into your stream causing trouble, you're gonna have to do the same with your mods. And in a way, it's like managing two streams. You're managing your mod stream and you're managing your actual stream. So in a way, like, it's a lot easier to manage just 20 people or 30 people or whatever than it is to manage 300. That's what you have the 20 or other 30 people do, but at some point you're gonna have to manage something. So if you have somebody causing you a lot of problems, send them on their way. Can you mod from consoles like PS4 or Xbox One? Yes, you can. I don't know why I answered a random question, but yes, you can. It's just slower. So yes. Anyways, let's talk about it's your channel. It is your channel. Make sure you understand that this is your channel. It's mine. Make sure your mods understand that. Whether that is, I know at some point we had a problem with hosting other people, and we had mods go into other channels, throw a host up, and be like, "Oh, I did it," and they were another streamer, so they basically got the Twitch currency for it, which basically, if you guys don't know, viewers are the Twitch currency between streamers. And if somebody's throwing my host around and taking claim for it, then I get nothing from it, and it kind of sucks. So make sure the mods understand that this is your channel. It's yours. They're here to help you. And whether you want to pay them for that or whatever or not, understand that they need to understand that. If you have a mod that does not understand that, send them on their way too. Say bye, bitch. So let's talk about security. We had a few questions on about this in the Q&A session. The biggest thing I can tell you guys to do, if you're getting in the streaming, you're going to treat it as a second job. Treat yourself like a celebrity. Look at the ways that other celebrities handle their privacy and stuff, and handle it the same way, to be honest with you. There's a lot of very easy, rules you can go by here, but to be honest with you, treat yourself like a celebrity. That doesn't mean going out buying huge bottles of champagne and stuff. Treat yourself like the celebrities you don't hear about. You don't know their addresses. You don't know where they live. You don't know, their kids' names unless, somebody else is mentioning that and that sort of thing. But to be honest with you, they have security as well. And there's a reason why. You need your privacy. And yes, your actions have consequences. Like sometimes people are gonna want to know everything it is about you. Some people on your channel are gonna want to know everything. You have to set boundaries. And that's one of the things. You need to set those boundaries and just let people know. They'll understand. They will understand because in many people's eyes, they're gonna see you as a celebrity. So obviously, big thing is don't disclose your address. That's pretty self-explanatory. I don't need to explain that to anybody. But the big thing here is the reason why we mention this is don't mention it anywhere. Don't mention your address anywhere, whether this is what city you live in. If you want to disclose your state, that's okay, I think. But your city, don't even mention your city. Do not mention your city, to be honest with you. Here's why. A lot of people are like, what's the big deal with mentioning your city? Somebody maybe from your hometown or something like that may be watching. True story. Somebody from wherever your city you're watching may be watching. And here's the problem is the larger you get, the more people you're going to be sending packing. And by that, I mean, you're going to be banning some people. You're going to be timing out people, and people don't take well to that. People don't take well to some of the opinions you have. People get pissed off about that. And if you piss off somebody in your city and they know what city you live in and they know your name, because they're probably going to know your name. I mean, that's one of the things I don't mind giving out is your name. But to be honest with you, if you're giving out your city too, they could probably find you. And you really don't want that. This is how people get swatted. This is how people get swatted on Twitch. So to be honest with you, state probably okay. City, I'd be a little wary of that. The other thing is, don't give out your full name if you can. Everybody here knows me as Ashley. But there are ways to find out my last name as well. But to be honest with you, don't give out your full name if you can. It's kind of nice to give out your first name. It gives a more personal touch to other streamers and other viewers and that sort of thing. But obviously mine is pretty self-explanatory. It's like, oh, it's Ashley, duh. But to be honest with you, don't give out your full name. Try not to give out your last name if you can. The other thing is, this is one of the things that I fully recommend people to do. People will ask oh, where do you work? What school did you go to? Never ever mention what high school or college or whatever you went to, or if you're still going to them. Never mention that. That is that's way worse. That's essentially giving out your address. And your work is the same thing. I mean, works have very, very unique names. They'll be able to find out exactly where you are. So don't mention the name of your company, that sort of thing. And in many ways, if your job is very specific, try to generalize your job, that sort of thing. A lot of people, I think a few people on the channel know exactly what I do, but for the most part, I mention I do IT for a medical company. That's about as generalized, but you guys get a better idea of what I do. So don't mention what school you go to. Keep it, try to be vague. And when somebody pressures you to try to give you that information, be forceful with them. Be like, no, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. As long as you say for security reasons, most people understand. And if people start pushing that more, mods,